보지 말아야 할 걸 본 건 아닐까?
The Ring virus, also known as Ring, is a South Korean movie released in 1999. Most fans of the Ring franchises are probably well aware about the existence of this film, but it might be news for the rest that Gore Verbinski's The Ring was not the first remake of Hideo Nakato's Ringu. A few years prior, South Korea decided to make their version on the story about the cursed videotape. It hasn't gotten too much attention, and I think there's a reason why, but I will let you know about my personal opinions on this film later. While most definitely being a remake of Ringu, most definitely, it has also taken a lot more from the original novel Ring written by Koichi Suzuki. I'll not get too deeply into the plot as it pretty much follows the same path as Ringu and the Ring. A protagonist is as familiar as a single mom journalist, this time called Sun-jo, and is played by Eun-kyung. She lives alone with her daughter Boram, who she doesn't really seem to care about. Seriously, she's so frosty towards her. In the intro scene, we see Sun-jo's niece getting killed by something, and Sun-jo later finds out that another 3 teenagers died at the exact same time under similar mysterious circumstances. She learns that they had spent the weekend together at a holiday resort a week before this happened. She decides to investigate this case a bit further in hopes of finding some closure to what actually happened, and perhaps also getting something good to write about for her newspaper. So she heads for the resort club they had stayed at, and some strange text in the guest book, along with a ambiguous message that she found on her niece's message thing, suggest that they must have watched something during their stay. Perhaps a videotape. So she watches it, intrigued and captivated. Ugh. It's very blue and abstract, and ends with a final warning saying that whoever watches this will die in 7 days, and the only way to break the curse is to... The part that reveals how to lift the curse has been taped over. It follows by a random phone call, and this is enough for Sun-jo to believe that she only has 7 days to live. From there it continues being fairly similar to the other versions. She contacts this man named Dr. Cho, who's done some work on the paranormal or something, I don't remember. In his curiosity, he decides to watch the tape himself.
자, 건배. 짜릿하잖아? 목숨을 건 게임인데.
Ugh, he's so annoying. Together, they try to find the source of the curse and how to lift it. Things get a bit worse when Sun-jo catches her daughter, Boram, watching the tape too. How does this somewhat anonymous Korean version measure up to its counterparts? I can start by saying that it's not the same as Ringu. Not by any means. It's similar in its content, but presented in a brighter, more colorful and louder manner, yet it's quite bland. It never gets particularly interesting, and there are many reasons why. The story is a mess, having tried to include too much content from the original novel, while still taking in new parts introduced in Ringu.
장미 언니가 뭐라 그랬어?
It all becomes quite puzzling for those who haven't read the book or watched any other versions. There's merely no horror, just some loud sound effects here and there. Besides that, the Ring virus aims for a more mysterious approach opposed to scary. And it also lacks a identity. You can clearly see that they had good resources shooting this, but the director fails to achieve his aims with this unsure cinematography, awkward photo compositions, and an overall inconsistent style. There just isn't anything that distinguishes this film. My guess is that there wasn't too much effort put into this production, and that it was more of a quick cash puller on the Korean market after noticing the success of Ringu the previous year. This is a real shame, considering that South Korea tends to produce extremely high qualitative media entertainment, and along with the brilliant concept of The Ring, this sure was a lost opportunity that could have been something much greater. There are some cool parts that demonstrates this, showing what this could have been, but definitely isn't. Another issue is how it's very difficult to empathize with any of these characters. I want to clarify that I think Shin Eun-kyung is a very good actress, normally. She's splendid in other films such as My Wife's a Gangster and Diary of June. Here, she pretty much looks like this throughout the whole film. I mean, compare that to the other versions. Why does she look like a robot? Is it poor directing, or did she just not care about her role? And after emoting zero emotions throughout most of the film, she gets some very sudden outbursts that are so random and out of nowhere. I don't understand this film. Oh, and did I mention that Dr. Choi is very annoying? Ugh. Like, he's almost unbearable at times, and is the reason why I've avoided rewatching this film until I decided to make this review. Lastly, there is the villain of this film, normally known as Sadako or Samara, but here she's called Park Eun-soo. She was played by Donna Bae, back then a 19-year-old model, but nowadays a highly acclaimed actress with some international recognition, mostly thanks to her role in Sense8. This Eun-soo is sort of a replication of Sadako, but cheaper, non-scary and less mysterious, having her face well visible in the flashbacks. With a confused story and low entertainment value, the Ring virus just isn't very good, and definitely not memorable. It's still cool that a Korean take on the Ring story exists, but I would only recommend this to Ring fans only. If you're not familiar with these films, I think a much better idea is to start with Hideo Nakata's Ringu, or possibly Go Verbinski's The Ring, but preferably Ringu. Thank you for watching.